Hey everybody, it's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R chat for Sunday, December 23rd, 2012. The heat has been turned up on Sharon. She got a visit this week from an arson investigator, and that sent her all up in arms. She was completely suspicious during the interview. The guy is asking her where she was on the night of the fire, and she's just kind of trying to be aloof, saying, oh, I was in Chicago, and gee, sorry, there's no evidence that I was in Chicago, no receipts or anything. I mean, I paid cash for everything, as a rich woman clearly would. Just cash, cash, cash all over town. No evidence that I was actually there in Chicago, but I was there, trust me. Oh, she absolutely panicked. She tried to pull it together just for this interview, but she panicked completely. She realizes that this crime that she's done, burning down the ranch, is just about ready to catch up with her. And in her mind, I think she is afraid of going to jail, obviously, but it might even be a little bit worse, the possibility that she might go back to Fairview. That is her hell. She doesn't want to have to go back to the mental institution and be alone there and be isolated and be away from her kids. And at this point, Sharon is really zoning in on her children. She wants to be with them. She wants to be a good mother. They are her touchstone. They are the thing that's keeping her grounded. And she is specifically zeroing in on Faith. And she ends up talking Nick into letting Faith stay the night with her. And Nick was a little reluctant at first, but decided it's okay. They need to bond, so I'll let it happen. And Sharon freaks out and takes Faith and runs, puts the kid in the car, and packs some suitcases, and tries to get the heck out of Dodge. It was very difficult to watch her anxiety and the fact that Faith, this poor innocent child, does not know what's going on. Faith the entire time is kind of crying and just like saying that she wants her doll, and Sharon is saying to Faith, everything's gonna be okay, don't worry, we're gonna go to a place that's nice and warm, and there's gonna be a beach, and you're gonna play, and it'll be great, it'll be wonderful, everything's gonna be okay, right? And you could tell that in a way she's trying to reassure herself, but it's absolutely out of control. Sharon ends up pulling over the car, getting into the back seat, and just holding her daughter. I can't imagine what a horrible feeling that must be for a little girl, to know that something's not right. You want to trust your mother, but you know that something's not right. And that was completely the vibe that I got off of that scene. And as Sharon and Faith are gone, Nick decides to go over and check on Sharon at her house, I think to give Faith the doll that she's been crying for, and Nick realizes that Sharon's gone. Something ain't right in this scenario. There's clothes strewn everywhere, she ain't here, and Nick starts to freak out. He is ticked off. Sharon has now taken their child, and I think, just in a way, I think Sharon realized at that almost the same moment what the repercussions of these actions were going to be. Remember the last time that she ran? Look at where that got her. I mean, she decided to, after she was in trouble for the Sky killing thing, she decided to go on the lam, and she got lucky when she found Sam, but she might not be that lucky this time. So she actually had a second thought, decided not to go with her instinct, and she came and brought Faith back home. And there was a moment where Nick confronted her about where she was, and he said to her something like, well, where were you? Were you off seeing Christmas lights or going shopping, or where did you take our child? And Sharon could have lied about it. She could have come up with some kind of excuse, but she actually confessed and said to Nick, no, I was taking Faith and I was running, and I decided to come back, and I'm just scared. And it was a good moment for her, I thought, that she has decided to, A, stop trusting her own instinct there, and B, stop lying. She told Nick the truth, and I thought that that was a really wonderful moment. Actually, Avery was there during this whole thing, and Nick convinced Sharon that it was okay to open up to Avery and tell her the entire story. So Sharon did the whole giving Avery $1 thing to give her a retainer. And Sharon told Avery that she burned down the ranch and confessed the whole thing. And Avery actually said, you know, everything's going to be okay. She said they don't really have any evidence to connect you there. This is going to be fine. Avery was able to provide the type of reassurance that Sharon needed, that it's going to be fine. You're not going to go to jail, and even if you know it does go to trial, they don't have any evidence. And it was very good. It helped in calming her down. And Sharon decides to go home after this, and she calls her therapist, which again is the right move to make. Talk to somebody, talk this through with somebody. Don't just go on your own instinct. And it was actually quite nice to hear Sharon talking with the therapist, actually confessing that she almost doesn't recognize herself. She said something to the effect of, how is it possible that my sense of right and wrong can be so far off base? Why can't I tell the difference between right and wrong right now? And the doctor actually had this revelation moment where she said, the fact that you're even asking that question means that you are getting back on track, that your medication is beginning to work. And I hope so. I genuinely hope that Sharon is getting back on track. The whole time during the whole kidnapping scene, I was thinking, I just wish she wasn't doing this. I want Sharon to get better, not worse. And I'm so glad that it had a happy ending. I was not looking forward to, if she would have kept driving the car, I was not looking forward to figuring out where that was going to go. So it was nice that she had her instinct, second guessed it, and now she's back at home and she seems more settled. The only little lingering problem she seems to have right now is about Adam and how she feels conflicted with her feelings about Adam. She confessed again to the therapist this week that Adam told her his feelings for her, that she's aware that he wants her. And the therapist asked her, why is it that this scares you? Why is this such a problem for you? And Sharon said, it's because I have feelings for him too. So here we are, back at Adam and Sharon. I think it's kind of good. I know there probably will be people that will disagree with me, but I find this to be encouraging. I probably shouldn't want Adam and Sharon together. At this point, Adam he's such a jerk. He's being such a villain. I am shocked by the way he is playing the victim role with Chelsea, as if she wronged him. It's all about him and how he feels that she went to Victor and told Victor and Nikki all about what Sharon had done. And it's definitely knocked Adam down a couple of pegs in my book. I was happy to see him and Chelsea finally have a frank conversation this week where he admitted to her that it wasn't that Sharon kissed him, that it was the other way around, that the kiss that Chelsea witnessed was initiated by Adam, and it broke Chelsea's heart. It was such an intense scene because you can feel that Chelsea really wants to find some sort of strand to hold on to, some way that she could possibly save her marriage, and Adam is distanced from it. He has in some ways already made up his mind that if he can't give Chelsea his whole heart, if he is indeed having these feelings for Sharon, then he shouldn't be with Chelsea, which is the truth. And it prompted him to really be honest with her and tell her what he was feeling, and he confessed to Chelsea that he does have feelings for Sharon, which was such a big moment. he kind of played it off by saying that he was confused and he's feeling confused right now by his feelings, but I don't see what's so confusing about it. Sharon is his ex-wife. They had an incredible relationship. They fought so hard to be together, and there were a lot of feelings there. So I don't think it's unusual that he would still be having these feelings. He seemed to block Sharon out for a portion of time, but it's not surprising to me that he would eventually come back to her. I think Sharon was Adam's first love in a lot of ways. We don't know a lot about Adam's previous relationships except for the relationship he had with Sky, which seemed so much more of a relationship of convenience. It didn't seem that there was a real huge emotional connection there. I think his connection with Sharon was the first real connection romantically that he ever had. So it's not surprising at all that it's come full circle, and I don't think it's become surprising to Chelsea either. I think she wants to save her relationship, but she feels similarly to the way he does. If it's not completely mutual and exclusive, then there's no reason to move ahead with it. And they agreed to take a break from each other. At first, actually, it was, let's just take a break. We don't want to break up, but let's take a break from each other. And then as the week developed, they really started talking about divorce already, which is such a huge moment. It's such a huge word, considering they haven't been married for that long. But it seems as if Adam and Chelsea are headed for the big D word, and you guys, I know, I just can't help but kind of feel happy that Adam and Chelsea's relationship is unraveling. I'm sorry, Adam and Chelsea fans. I've just never been on board this train. It's never had a huge pull for me. I know there's going to be a lot of people that really, I'm sure, are heartbroken this week to see them breaking up. But for me, it's just getting back to where we should have been all along. I don't know if I should want Adam and Sharon together, but I do. It's one of those situations where and it always kind of has been. That's always been the pull of Sharon and Adam. I feel like I shouldn't want them together, but I do. It's the forbidden nature of the relationship that I find compelling. So Adam and Chelsea are really headed towards Splitsville. They have been kind of still talking out a little bit. Adam is still in denial. He keeps going back to the fact that Chelsea ratted on Sharon to Victor as if that was the breaking point in their relationship, and it clearly was when they lost the baby, and Chelsea said that to him. Their relationship was broke so far before that. It's, for some reason, that moment where they lost the baby, Adam chose to go elsewhere. He chose to disconnect from her rather than leaning into the feelings and accepting what he lost. He decided to revert and go back to where he was as before, and I don't know. I'm just kind of surprised that how quickly their relationship has unraveled, but I'm actually still a little bit happy about it. I'm sorry. Of course, Adam could not wait to go tell Sharon what had happened, that he and Chelsea were getting a divorce. I think he went there for other reasons, but right away, she goes over to Sharon's house and she says something like, "You need to get your marriage back on track. You don't need to be with me." And he says, "It's over between me and Chelsea." And Sharon found that, I think, to be quite a burden. Sharon has enough going on in her life that she does not need to feel responsible for Adam's relationship breaking up, nor does she need to feel obligated to pursue a relationship with him right now when she's not 100% healthy. So it was an awkward scene where Adam tells her this, she reacts, and they have a moment where they both agree that they're just friends. It's okay, no pressure or anything, we're just friends, which is exactly the type of environment that Sharon and Adam's relationship always blossoms in, where it's not explicit, where it's sort of naughty. It's just for some reason that forbidden zone is where they tend to get off. So, I can only imagine that their just friends thing is not going to last very long. But another interesting aspect of this is that Adam feels very guilty for ruining his marriage, and he calls Chelsea up and asks to see her, which Chelsea is immediately like, we don't have anything else to say to each other. What else could we possibly need to say to each other? Chloe overhears this whole conversation and calls it out. You know, she says he's hedging his bets. I think he wants to make sure that Chelsea that he has Chelsea just in case things don't work out with Sharon. And in a way, I still sort of think that's true, because while Adam is saying, yes, I think it's better that we have the divorce, well, although Chelsea asked for that technically, at the same time, I think he's still telling her that he loves her, and I think he could really go either way at this point. Although Sharon is the more compelling because she's the forbidden, but Chelsea decides to go and meet Adam, and he tells her that even though they have a prenuptial agreement, he wants to throw it out and just give her half of his money. Just wants to give her half the money that he has. Chelsea was stunned. I was stunned too. Really? You want to give her half of your money? It's as if Adam is truly half and half right now. He's half black, half white, and it's almost as if by giving her that money, he's able to absolve himself of the guilt, and Chelsea doesn't want it. I would take it, personally. I'd be like, all right, write me a check. But she's got her pride. Hey, she turned down $1 million from Victor, which I'm sure Adam's net worth is far, far, far more. But she turned down his money, I guess, because of her pride. And I can't blame her on some level. It was probably the right thing to do. But what is she going to do without Adam's money? Now she's kind of used to this lifestyle, and she has this business on the side that she wants to start up with Chloe. Chloe is freaking out because she asked Gloria to get involved in Chelsea and Chloe's fashion business, to become an investor, even though I don't know why you would want Gloria anywhere near a fashion company. She has her own distinct style, but it's very different from, I think, what the vibe that Chloe and Chelsea are going for. But Gloria ended up backing out of that whole deal, so they have no money. Chloe and Kevin are hurting. They've got a payment due on their house, or they're gonna lose their house. I don't know what Chelsea's going to do for a place to stay, even though Adam pretty much told her that she could have the house. But I don't know what Chelsea's going to do for money. She better hope that this fashion business takes off, and she better hope that Chloe doesn't flip her freaking lid when she finds out that Adam offered Chelsea a ton of money and Chelsea turned it down. Sarge's nephew, Mason, I think is his name, he's the new Connie. Have you guys noticed that? He just sits outside of Jack's office as the new receptionist, and it's sort of funny because you're just so used to seeing Connie in that desk, or from way back, Victor's assistant. So it's funny that he's this new male secretary. And actually, totally funny but kind of sad scene. Victor walks into Newman Enterprises, walks right past Mason, and Mason says to Victor, "Oh, you can't go in there." Oh, Victor had to check him. Victor practically spit fire at this poor kid right away and said something like, "Do you know who I am? Do you know whose name is on this building? I'm Victor Newman. Who the hell are you? Have a nice day." The poor kid, he didn't know. This is his second day on the job, and Victor practically ripped him a new one. It was a funny little scene. Seeing Victor, don't you have anything better to do, Victor, than just yell at the employees? This is not even your company anymore. Blah. Victor's clearly bitter about the fact that he is not in control. And Victor was there so that he could go see Adam. And I have been wondering what the heck Victor's angle with Adam is going to be for weeks now. And I can't believe that it hasn't dawned on me until this week when it all kind of became revealed. Adam is blackmailable. Clearly. Adam was there the night that Sharon burned down the ranch. Adam hired 2 people to start similar fires, and Victor has figured it out. And Victor wants something in return. At the very least, Victor has the power to continue to pursue the arson investigation against Sharon. And knowing clearly, seeing from the way Adam reacted at the penthouse party, Sharon is Adam's weak spot. And Victor just zoned right in on that and very flatly told Adam, either you help me get Newman Enterprises back, or I'm going to pursue the case against Sharon and send her ass to jail along with you probably. It was maybe 15 seconds before Adam agreed. It didn't take very long at all. Adam just said, all right, I will do this for Sharon. But I want you to trust me and do it my way. I'll help you get Newman Enterprises back, but you have to trust me and do it my way. It is so weird how often the word trust has passed through Adam's lips within the last several weeks, and at this point he is one of the least trustworthy characters in this universe. It's so bizarre, but Victor really doesn't have a whole lot of say. He kind of has to go along with this. If he wants Adam's help, then he really does need to trust him. So Victor agrees, and Adam runs right back to Jack and tells him the whole thing, that Victor is planning this coup and he's blackmailing me to do it. So I get it. It's so unclear as to what side Adam is really on and what Jack is going to do to prevent all of this. I still don't know. I like the storyline because I am not figuring it out. Maybe I'm just dense, but at this point I'm kind of along for the ride. I want Victor to get his stupid company back. It doesn't feel right to me to have Jack sitting behind the desk at Newman Enterprises and frankly to have Neil sitting behind the desk at Jabot. It doesn't make sense to me. So I hope that Adam does what he needs to do to help Victor get his damn company back and we can get things back to where they need to be. But there does seem to be this weird relationship developing between Jack and Adam that I can also kind of appreciate, because with Adam telling Jack this information about Victor, I think it garnered a little bit of trust again with Jack. And Adam, at another point in the week, walked into the office and found Jack passed out on the couch, like he had slept in his office all night. So Adam is constantly seeing what this drug addiction is doing to Jack, and I think Jack is starting to feel what it's doing to him. So Jack is trying to go off the meds. He is really trying to just go cold turkey. It's a pain in the butt to get the meds, and he does also realize that Victor is trying to close in and get the company back, and he doesn't want that to happen. So Jack kind of confides in Adam. Adam actually had this moment where he said, if you're really trying, if you're really off the pills, then tell me where they are and I'll keep them for you. And if you need one, you come to me for them. It was so odd that Jack agreed to that. Were you as surprised by that as I was? It's just, I can't believe Jack allowed Adam to be the keeper of his pills. It's just such a such an odd partnership. Why would you give that power to one of your enemies or somebody that you're at the very least not 100% confident about? But later in the week, it was revealed that there was a press article. There's this news story that's come out. Suddenly, the whole world is aware that Jack has a drug addiction. One of these gossip rag sites leaks a story that Newman's CEO has a secret drug addiction, and Jack is crushed. He was actually trying to get it under control. And this just sent him over the edge. Not only is it humiliating, but he is still in pain. And he had to go to Adam and beg him for the pills. It was so, that scene where Jack is begging Adam for a pill is so weird. Jack is so at Adam's mercy right now, and Adam is being very merciful. It's strange. So, the question is, who leaked this article? Who went to the press and told them about this? Because they didn't just learn it from nowhere. And immediately Adam thought it was Mason, the assistant, which kind of makes sense. You know, all of a sudden he's a new guy and there's who they don't know, and then all of a sudden there's an article out there. And I thought that was going to be it. I thought, well, that's kind of interesting. Maybe this Mason guy's a spy. Maybe he's got some tricks up his sleeve or something. But no, huge surprise. It was Kyle. Wow. Kyle went to the press about his father's drug addiction. Really? I'm ready for Kyle to explain himself. Immediately when that became aware, I'm like, go ahead, Kyle, explain this, because I don't get it. And what Kyle said was, you know, I had to do something. You're the only parent I had left. Well, I think that's kind of a funny way of getting through to Jack, don't you? An intervention or something might have been a better first step, a better option. Were all of your resources really tapped so much and that you had to go to the press? And what on earth purpose does that serve? How does that help Jack? How does that help anything except to destroy your relationships? I don't understand why Kyle would do that. What on earth would possess him to do that? If it was an accident and he accidentally spilled it to someone and it got leaked out, that's one thing. But it sort of seemed that there was an implication that he did it on purpose. So I'm very confused by Kyle. I'm very confused by that whole thing. I think he had to have just been fed up with Jack. Obviously, he was being a monster. Everyone is fed up with Jack. Even Phyllis is hitting her wall. She's tired of chasing after him. She's tired of being his mommy. It's not in her job description. And there was this huge meeting in Chicago this week that Jack begged her to go to. She didn't want to go because it was Summer's birthday. And because Jack wasn't able to pull it together, Phyllis had to end up going on her own, almost missing her daughter's birthday, which is something so important to her right now. And Phyllis, when she came back into town, she approached Jack like a mad woman. She like stomped right in to his house and just flamed on him. Like, I am tired of this. You begged me to go on this meeting and then you don't show up. That is it. I'm done with this, Jack. And I think that's kind of how everybody is feeling at this point. I'm done with this. I'm done covering for you. Summer is such a perfect little angel now. Have you noticed this? She's just such a nice girl. It's her birthday and her dad is taking her out for dinner on the boulevard, and he tells her he wants to give her a present, and she says, oh no, I don't want a present. No, Daddy, I don't want a present. I don't deserve a present. And then later she's getting ready to blow out the candles and she decides she doesn't want a wish. She doesn't want a birthday wish because she has everything she needs. Summer has gone from being Phyllis's devil child to being such a little angel, and it's thrown me off a little bit. But she wasn't too angelic to not accept the brand new car that Nick bought for her. What do you guys think of that? Summer wrecked her old car and killed Chelsea's child, and now here it is a few weeks later. Nick is convinced that she has learned her lesson and she deserves a new car, so here you go. Gives her a set of keys. When I was watching that scene, I wish you guys could watch it with me sometimes because, you know, I didn't know what was in the box. But Nick hands her over the box. She undoes the ribbon, pulls it out. As soon as she opens up the box lid, I actually said out loud, is it Chelsea's baby? Because Summer took that. Summer was the catalyst for, you know, the whole everything that's going down with Adam and Chelsea. And I don't know, do you think she's being better? Do you think that she is responsible enough now? Do you think that that was a good gift for Nick to give her? You'll have to leave me a comment and let me know what you think about that. Now, Phyllis was late for the dinner. She's in Chicago doing Jack's bidding, but she did get there for dessert just in time to see that who had taken her place at the dinner table? Avery. Avery happened to be at the same restaurant as them on a business meeting, and then the business meeting got done early, so she goes and sits down with Summer and Nick, and they're, from the outside, looking like a happy little family. Phyllis walks in, and she's pissed, naturally. She actually walked in at the very second that the waiter was coming, or was walking by to give Summer her cake, and Phyllis stops the waiter, says, "Oh, that's for my daughter. Do you mind if I take that to the table?" I literally thought that Phyllis was going to take the cake, walk up to the table, and smash the whole thing over Avery's head. I was expecting that. It would have been so inappropriate, but also kind of funny. It wouldn't have garnered her any points with her daughter, but I would have thought it was funny. So Phyllis played nice for the sake of her daughter. Avery played nice too. She kind of stepped away and said, "All right, well, I'm gonna leave. You guys have your family moment," which I think they needed. I just think that Phyllis and Nick and Summer need to bond together. Phyllis and Nick may no longer be together, but that doesn't mean that they stop being her parents. And I do think that Phyllis needs to have a bigger role in Summer's life, as long as Phyllis can be a good example. It's weird, isn't it, how little we see of Phyllis these last few weeks? It seems like all of, or most of Phyllis's lines and the focus that we've had on Phyllis has now been shifted over to Avery. We're only a couple of scenes with Phyllis this week. To me, it is a little bit of a needed break. I did need a Phyllis break, so I'm a little happy about that. But at the same time, I do think that Phyllis deserves to be there in her daughter's life. And there was a nice little moment at the table where Phyllis gave Summer her present, and it was a little necklace that had an infinity charm on it that symbolized their little saying together, "I love you to infinity," or something to that effect. And they had a moment, and it was nice. Phyllis got teary-eyed, of course, because she was remembering on Summer's birthday the moment when Summer was born. Summer was born in an elevator, in an ice storm. And I wanted to ask you guys how many of you remember that moment. Do you remember when Phyllis was giving birth to Summer? I do. And it's funny how Phyllis always rubs it in to Summer and says, you know, "I gave birth to you in an elevator, in an ice storm." And I just keep wondering though too, I wonder if Phyllis ever told Summer that at the time she wasn't sure who her daddy was, and that it might have been Jack, and it might still be Jack. So we have a new character. Tyler is a very sexy young African-American man who is now on the show as Leslie's brother. Leslie's brother hot. He's real hot. I wonder how old he is, because I'm still trying to solve the mystery of what's going on with Avery and her ex, and immediately my first thought was, is Tyler Avery's ex-husband? I just wonder if he could possibly fit into this storyline a couple of different ways, or he can fit into a couple different storylines. I think that would be interesting. He's probably too young for her, but you can tell right away that Tyler has an edge. He's no angel. In fact, he comes into the scene having lunch with Leslie, and Neil sits down with them, and Tyler calls out right away, "So, sis, how long have you been sleeping with the boss?" That was bold. Tyler definitely came on the scene with a bang. Immediately, Leslie and Neil are scrambling. We're not sleeping together, what do you mean? And he, of course, backtracks. Oh, I'm just kidding. Totally inappropriate comment to make about your sister's boss, but it's funny to see Leslie and Tyler's interaction. You kind of do get the vibe that they are brother sister, picking on each other a little bit. She was picking on him at his choice of career, and that he had apparently had a rap. She had gotten him out of legal trouble because he was graffitiing or something. But it seems like that's kind of playing into his career role. What do you know? He is a guerrilla marketer. He in the same team type of team that Lily's on at Jabot. Wasn't Lily in charge of a guerrilla marketing team at Jabot? And now here's this sexy man who is also into guerrilla marketing. Gee, I can't see where this storyline is going. It's gonna be good. But he, of course, is almost this whole lunch with Leslie and Neil turns into a job interview, and Neil tells him, hey, get a presentation together, give me your ideas, and I will gladly listen to them. Now, Neil also on the boulevard has a meeting with Jack. Jack wants to speak with Neil. And immediately Jack starts, as soon as he sees him, starts picking on Neil a little bit about the fact that he doesn't have a tie on. Neil has been going out of his way to kick this stuffy air about him, and he is doing a good job of it. He doesn't look like a slob. He's wearing a nice sweater, and Jack is right away not happy with that. And he breaks the news to Neil that he's planning on combining Newman Enterprises with Jabot, which means Neil's not going to have the autonomy that he was expecting. He got roped into this deal with Jack because he thought he was actually going to be able to run Jabot, that he wasn't going to be playing second fiddle to Victor or Katherine or anybody else. And now all of a sudden, if the companies are combined, Jack's really going to be the CEO, and Neil's just going to become a yes man. And this is very, very, very upsetting to Neil. And all of a sudden, because of this, Jack is really up in Neil's grill right now. He's second guessing everything that he's doing. Jack stops, it was funny, Jack pays a visit to Jabot, sees that there's Christmas music playing in the hall. Oh, Christmas music playing in the hall? Well, that is unacceptable. Sees that everyone is in more casual clothes, and Jack really, really leans on Neil about that and says, this is not Jabot. Jabot is class, you know? Jabot is high end, not casual, and I don't like that. And Neil sees it as Jack questioning his authority, not, you know, Jack not allowing him to make decisions. And Mason shows up with his guerrilla marketing presentation. Jack decides to stay for that so that he can get the scoop and again lean on Neil. And Mason proceeds to give this presentation about how he's going to scatter the city or like paint the city with this image of an eyeshadowy eye, and it's going to be on stickers and pamphlets and graffiti everywhere. It's just going to be this eye. And then just as Chabot launches their new line, it's going to be revealed that that was all about their eye. And it's a way of, you know, creating buzz, which is, I'm sorry, it is unethical. I think, of course, Jack and Kane disagreed with this. The minute he said graffiti, he was out. And I kind of agree with them. Maybe it's just me, but I don't think it's appropriate for them to be graffitiing to get the word out about their product. That seems black hat to me, and I don't like it. So, and even the stickers thing, I'm sorry, that's littering. It's illegal. You're not allowed to do that. And especially, for, you know, in a big company like that. I'm a small business owner. It's difficult for me to get the word out about my products. I'm someone who has to do guerrilla style advertising. Chabot has probably $1 billion advertising budget. Use those means. You know, don't like move in on the little guy. I don't know. I don't like Mason's business style. I think he seems a little bit shady, but I think that will make him very interesting to watch. And Lily was there during his whole presentation, and she was digging it. She was on it. And Mason was digging her, and he was on it. It was very exciting. I really thought that that was one of the most exciting moments of the week, just seeing how Mason was looking at her and really trying to focus in on what her opinion of this whole thing is. And I really want your opinion, Lily, because you're a woman. You're the one who actually uses the products. And it was clearly that he wants a job at Chabot, but he also saw this beautiful woman and he wants to get to know her. And Kane is standing there the entire time that he's basically hitting on Lily, and Kane kind of steps up there and he decides to introduce himself to Mason. He said something like, or Tyler, I'm sorry, his name's Tyler. He said, have I been calling him Mason? I'm sorry if I have, Tyler. But Kane says to him something like, oh, I don't think I've introduced myself. I'm Kane, Lily's husband. So just back off, by the way. That was so cute, and I'm digging it. I'm just digging it. I think Lily and Kane need a little something to cause a little bit of stir in their relationship. Just something. I like Lily and Kane together, but it'll be nice to see something new. And it's clear that Lily is at a place in her life where she is kind of at a crossroads. She feels a little bit pulled in two directions, that she enjoys having a job and she likes doing the business thing, but she also misses her kids and she misses being a mom, and she feels pulled in both directions. And I really like that. We haven't seen that much dimension to Lily recently, and this is the kind of storyline I wanted to see from her. I wanted to see Lily trying to balance being a businesswoman with being a mom, and this is kind of the first hint that we've had of that. And she opened up a little bit this week about her feelings, and I just thought this is also very promising. And it doesn't hurt that there's a sexy new man introduced into the mix too. It was Michael and Lauren's anniversary this week, and they went out to the restaurant to just have drinks and chitty chat. And guess who was the bartender? Carmine. Now, it was strange because Michael really gave Carmine the blow off. I don't want to talk to you, just back off. Even though Carmine was trying to be very nice to them. He wanted to buy them a bottle of champagne, and Lauren was a little more open to it than Michael was. In fact, Michael walked away to take a phone call, and Carmine just walked up with a glass of champagne, complimentary champagne, to give to Lauren. And I thought, well, is that Carmine just being nice? Or is there some kind of foreshadowing there? Is Carmine going to somehow fit into their storyline? Is Lauren going to be wooed by a younger man? Scandalous. I don't know. You'll have to let me know what you thought of that scene. Is it just niceness, or is it a little bit more? I don't know. But I I love Michael and Lauren together. He brought her home for an anniversary surprise. She thought it was going to be Paris or some fabulous trip that they were going to take, or a car or something shiny, and it was actually just an evening at home, and Michael gave her a card. He had written a poem inside the card, and he was reciting it to her, just really sweet, saying how much he loves her and how much he appreciates her, and it was so much better than anything else he could have given her, and it was a wonderful moment. They have a good relationship. They have a good, stable relationship, and I love Michael and Lauren. Now, they were playing Smoochy Smooch Face when they got a knock on the door, and it was Jaime. And Jaime is just stopping by to let them know that he's being sent to a group home because his father is now in jail indefinitely. He clearly doesn't have any other relatives that can take him, so he is being sent to a group home, and it is apparently a bad group home. People steal your stuff and probably beat up on ya, and it's just not good. And it was funny because Jaime kind of showed up with these puppy eyes. Don't send me to a group home. How could anybody resist? Naturally, Michael and Lauren started trying to find a way to get Jaime to stay with them. Not necessarily to adopt him, but at least to allow Jaime to stay with them while some, another arrangement can be made. And I thought, oh, that's so good. I'm so glad. I want Jaime to have a good, stable family. And Michael and Lauren are good influences. And then Fen walks in. And Fen heard that Jaime was going to have to go to a group home. And he actually started being kind of cool toward Jaime. He said, I got a new video game. You want to come to my room and play my video game? Or, let's get something to eat. And he was actually being really nice to Jaime. It was surprising how everything was just fine, and Fen, gosh, he's such a little devil. He's got just such a rascal vibe about him because he comes up with this excuse, says he's gonna go study for his chemistry exam or something, and he really sneaks out to go see Summer to give her birthday present. And Jaime catches him and he says, there's no test in chemistry tomorrow. What are you doing? And Fen says, Summer's birthday, I'm going to go see her. So Fen kind of lies to his parents, sneaks out of the house, and Jaime was kind of doing the same thing. He said, yeah, I got to go get some clothes and whatnot. Well, Fen goes to Summer, and Summer's just getting home, and she has a surprise present there for her. She opens up the card. It's from Jaime. Jaime said, I can't remember what it said, something like, sorry for the awkward moment when I kissed you. And Fen saw the card, and it was all downhill from there. Fen was being so cool with Jaime. He was actually not being a little jerk about Jaime staying with him, and now he has seen this card, and he probably feels that, again, it's Jaime trying to take over his life. So I'm sure Fen is going to be a little jerk about that next week, but he just better step in line because at the same time he's out doing this, Michael and Lauren find his extra cell phone. It's called a burner. It's basically a prepaid phone that he can only, I think, send messages from or something. And it's the phone he's been texting Jaime on, sending him all of these horrible text messages. And Lauren and Michael immediately are like, why would our son even have a second phone? This is suspicious. So next week, look for it. Fen's ass is going to get busted, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that. Well, Tucker and Jill slept together. And they saunter downstairs the next morning, and Katherine catches Tucker walking out the front door, and she's upset about it. She's naturally upset about it. Jill cannot comprehend why Katherine would not want them to be together. She said, things were kind of all right during the Thanksgiving holiday. Why can't it be okay now? Katherine said, it took a supreme effort of will for me to be okay with him during the holidays. This is not okay. This is an intensely supreme effort of will. And I just don't blame Katherine. I'm totally on Katherine's side in this whole thing. Why would Katherine even trust him? I don't trust him. And Jill has a weakness for men. It doesn't take much to fool her. And I think Tucker has an agenda. I think that he's using her, and that's what Katherine said. I couldn't agree more. Now, Katherine and Jill are arguing about this. Katherine has a coughing fit and collapses on the couch. And Jill thinks that Katherine is faking it because she was faking it a couple of weeks ago to test Jill's loyalty. So Jill kind of walks away, and it turned out that it was real. Katherine was like passed out on the couch, and Jill finally realized that she wasn't faking. She kind of jostles Katherine, and Katherine comes to. And at first she was saying, "Oh, I was only joking," but it was clear that she wasn't. They had to end up calling the doctor, and she was fine now. But what is this? Is Katherine getting, like, are we nearing the end of Katherine? Because Jill said something, they were arguing. Of course, Katherine blamed Jill for the fact that she passed out, and Jill came back at her and said, "You're 300 years old, woman. It's a miracle you're still sitting upright," which is very true, and it makes me nervous that maybe Katherine's not going to be around that much longer, because we've seen this before. I'm tired of every time Katherine gets a scene, she's passing out, whether it's fake or not. There's been a lot of hint about her medical condition. Is this more? Is something more going on? Is Tucker about to inherit Chancellor, or is it, maybe it's Devon. I think actually Devon was in the will in Tucker's place or something. And then there was that foreshadowing before. Katherine changed the will just a few months ago and made Devon an inheritor. So is it possible Devon's going to inherit, something's going to happen to Katherine, Devon's going to inherit the Chancellor Industries, and maybe him and his Neil will end up going head-to-head, or him and Tucker will end up going head-to-head. I'm just not really sure, but I don't know if Katherine's going to change her opinion on Tucker, maybe move him back into the will, because Katherine broke down this week and said to Jill that I'm ashamed of Tucker. I'm ashamed of my own son. That's why I don't want him around. I don't trust him. He's hurt so many people that I love, and I feel responsible. Or, Jill kind of implied that, and it's true. Katherine is ashamed of Tucker, and she feels ashamed of herself for letting him become what he's become. At the end of the day, you guys, right now, I just feel like I don't care that much about Tucker and Katherine's relationship. I don't care that much about Tucker and Jill's relationship. I'm just not a Tucker fan anymore. He's overstayed his welcome for me when he did what he did to Ashley, and I just don't feel any passion between him and Jill, and I feel that Katherine has so many better people in her life that don't want to screw her over. I feel Nikki has been a wonderful daughter figure to her, and for everything that they've gone through together, I think Jill has been a better daughter figure than Tucker has been a son figure. So I just, at the end of the day, I don't care that much. Okay, well, that is going to do it for me this week, and now it's your turn to tell me what you guys think about the show. Go ahead and leave me a comment. Let me know what you're thinking. It's always a pleasure to hear from you, and I hope that everyone has a wonderful holiday. I am looking forward to getting the holiday show next week. There should be some gifts, some surprises, and hopefully some fun stuff. From what I can tell, it might be a full week of Y&R. Kind of seems like maybe they're gonna run new shows all week, so we've got new stuff to look forward to all next week, and I hope that you guys are excited about that and that you have wonderful time and all of your family gatherings and all that good stuff. So I'll be back next week, next Sunday, and we'll chat again about our show. So everybody have a good one. I love ya. Bye.